These are these are kid games as horror movies, part 1.
Up first is the game Operation. Everyone has played this game and it's pretty fun. But did you know there's a horror movie based off of it? The movie is called Operation, but in this movie, unqualified and unlicensed contestants compete to try to perform several operations on a conscious person using an electrified pair of tweezers. This movie sounds terrifying, especially if you played the game Operation. Next up is one of everyone's favorite games, Uno. And whoever knew that they had a horror movie based off of it? The movie is obviously called Uno, and imagine playing Uno with a connection between a demonic murderer. And whatever cards you have can decide if you live or die. For example, if you get hit with a +4, your blood will start to boil in this movie.
These are kid games. These are facts that can maybe save your life one day, part 2.
Up first, in the event that somebody tries to grab you and kidnap you, or is just making you uncomfortable, just scratch them and their DNA will be in your nails. This will make it almost impossible for that person to get away with it. Up next, if you ever wake up in the middle of the night to the smell of gas, do not turn on the light. A spark from a light switch can blow up your entire house. Finally, if you ever accidentally disturb a beehive or wasp nest, do not run for the water. They will wait for you to resurface and then continue to sting you. Just run as fast and as far away as you can, because eventually they will stop following you.
These are facts. This might be the worst way somebody has ever died.
Okay, so there was a man who was trying to pick up a pretty big rock when suddenly his intestines fell out.
These are illegal places this might be the worst way somebody. These are illegal places you can't go, but people went anyway, part 1.
Up first is North Sentinel Island. In November of 2018, a man named John Allen Cho visited North Sentinel Island with the help of a fisherman. When he finally arrived, he attempted to convert the people on the island to Christianity. But you could assume that was not a good idea. John Allen Cho was then shot with arrows and buried afterwards. It is also believed, before he was buried, that the people on the island actually cannibalized him.
These are illegal places This is a scary story about the decision.
There was a man named Tom who did not enjoy his life. He had no excitement nor happiness, and he was never married. He was a 56-year-old man who hated living and envied everyone. So one day, he decided to do something disturbing. Tom got his gun and a mask and got in his car. He then went to a random house and knocked on the door. After waiting a couple seconds for an answer, a middle-aged man opened the door, with the sound of a family in the background. Tom then pulled out his gun and shot the man in the head. He then proceeded to shoot the man's wife and daughter in the head. A neighbor heard the gunshots and called the police. When the police got there and captured Tom, they asked him why he would do such a thing. Tom looked up with a depressing look on his face and said, "My life sucked. Why should someone else be happy?"
This is a scary story about These are the scariest things ever found in the woods, part 1.
Up first is a man who wants to be unnamed. And when he was 12 years old, he made a very disturbing discovery. As he was walking through the woods one day, he came across a dead homeless man's body. His body was very decomposed and smelt very bad. He never told his parents or the police. Most likely because he was super scared and didn't know what would happen if he told anybody. Up next, two friends, who want to remain nameless, were hiking a popular spot next to a 150-foot waterfall in the woods, when they suddenly found a 22-year-old woman with her face down in the mud. Her legs were completely broken, and she had no cell phone, food, or water, and was still alive. The two friends then called 911, and the girl was taken to a hospital. They found out later on that she also had a friend who fell from the waterfall. Her dead body was found 100 yards away.
These are the scariest. This might be the worst way somebody has ever died, part 2.
Up first, a stripper named Jewel has extreme lower back problems because of her breast implants. She takes a lot of drugs and alcohol to relieve her pain. One day, she then went into a reclining rack to help relax her back, but her boobs end up suffocating her to death.
This might be the worst way somebody has ever died, part
Scariest things found in the Mariana Trench. This unidentified creature was found in the Mariana Trench. It's believed to be a new form of jellyfish. This man was handed a note and knows he's about to die. The man in this video is named Chileno Sanchez. He was a very famous Mexican singer. One day he was performing a concert. That's when someone hands him a note. The note says, if you play this next song, you will die. Chileno looks very scared, but then crumbles up the note and continues the song. He gave one of the best performances of his life. Almost like he knew it would be his last. Chileno finished and said a very long goodbye to everyone in the band. He then left the venue and got in his car to drive home. But on the way he was pulled over by police. But it soon turned out these were not police. They were simply pretending in order to pull over Chileno. The men then shot Chileno, taking his life. To this day we're still not sure who did this or why. Some believe that it may be cartel related. This man was handed a note and knows he's about to die. Places you should never search on Google Earth. If you go to Norman's Cay in the Bahamas, you can see something strange. There is a crashed plane underwater. This plane was owned by Pablo Escobar of the Medellin cartel. He would send product from Colombia to the USA, but his pilots would use Norman's Cay as a refueling point. However, one day one of the planes crashed into the sea, taking the pilot's life. Everyone was way too scared to go anywhere near the plane, and that's why it's still there today. Take a look at this neighborhood in Florida. It all looks normal, right? But do you see this object in the water? It turned out this object was a car. The car had been there for 22 years. Inside it, police found William Moult. William Moult had gone on a drive and had been lost for 22 years. It was a mystery and his family had no idea where he'd gone, until it was solved by a Google Earth user who saw his car. Places you... This man lived for 82 years and never saw a woman once. This is Mihailo Tolotos, born in 1856. When he was only 4 hours old, his mother passed away. Nobody knew who his family was. So a group of men took him to a monastery atop of Mount Athos in Greece. But how did he never see any women? Well, no woman has been to Mount Athos in 1,000 years. It's illegal for women or animals to enter the mountain. This is to ensure celibacy for the monks that live in the mountain. It basically means the monks can't get busy with women or animals. Mihailo Tolotos did not leave the mountain for 82 years. And in 1938 he passed away, having never seen a woman once in his entire life. Can any of you guys relate to Mihailo? This man lived for 82 years.